You just sent a voice note to a friend, or maybe you recorded a quick video. And then, you made the fatal mistake of playing it back. You hit play, and immediately, you cringe. You probably reached out to turn it off. Because the voice coming out of the speaker simply does not sound like you. It sounds thin. It sounds higher. It sounds like a stranger saying the exact same words you just said. And you are left wondering, is that really what I sound like? It is a universal human experience. Almost everyone hates the sound of their own recorded voice. We will do almost anything to avoid hearing it. But here's the weird part. When your friends hear that exact same recording, they do not cringe. They don't think it sounds weird at all. To them, that is just you. So what is going on here? Is the microphone broken? Are you just being overly critical? Or is there a completely different version of your voice living inside your head? To understand this audio illusion, we have to look at how sound actually gets into your brain. Because there are two completely different ways you hear the world. The first way is called air conduction. This is how you hear almost everything else in your life. A dog barking, a car driving by, or your favorite song. When a sound happens out in the world, it creates pressure waves in the air. Those invisible waves travel across the room and bump into the outer part of your ear. Your outer ear acts like a funnel, catching those waves and directing them down your ear canal until they hit a tight little membrane called your eardrum. The eardrum vibrates, shaking 3 tiny bones in your middle ear. Those bones amplify the signal and pass it into the cochlea, deep inside your inner ear. The cochlea translates those fluid waves into electrical nerve signals, which shoot up to your brain. And boom, you hear the sound. That is air conduction. But there is a second way sound gets into your head. It is a secret backdoor that completely bypasses your eardrum. It is called bone conduction. Bone conduction happens when vibrations travel directly through your skeleton. If you plug your ears and start humming, you can still hear yourself perfectly. That is bone conduction at work. Your skull is actually a fantastic conductor of sound. And when you speak, your vocal cords don't just push air out of your mouth. They also vibrate your throat and your jaw. Those vibrations travel straight through the bones of your skull, directly into the cochlea, completely skipping the eardrum and the outer ear. So, when you are talking, you are actually hearing a mix of 2 different audio tracks at the exact same time. Track 1 is the air conduction, the sound leaving your mouth, traveling through the room, and entering your ear canal just like any other sound in the world. Track 2 is the bone conduction, the internal vibrations rumbling through your skull from your vocal cords directly into your inner ear. And this is where the audio illusion happens. Because bone conduction does not treat all frequencies equally. It naturally acts like an acoustic filter. Bones and tissue are dense, and dense materials are really good at carrying low-frequency sounds, while high-frequency sounds get absorbed or scattered. Because of this, the bone conduction track gives your voice a massive bass boost. Your skull literally acts like a built-in subwoofer for your own voice. This internal bass boost makes your voice sound deeper, richer, and more resonant inside your head than it actually is out in the real world. You are hearing an enhanced, studio remixed version of your own voice. And you have been listening to this exclusive remix every single day of your life. But a microphone does not have a skull. It does not have bones, and it does not have an inner ear. It only sits out in the air. When you speak into a microphone or a phone, it only captures track 1. It only records the air conduction. It completely misses the internal bass boost. So the recording only captures the thinner, higher-pitched, unenhanced version of your voice. The version that everyone else hears every time you open your mouth. When you play the recording back, you are hearing it through air conduction only. The secret backdoor is closed. The bass boost is gone. Suddenly, you are hearing what the rest of the world hears. And compared to the rich, deep voice you are used to, it sounds weak, reedy, and completely foreign. But the physical difference in sound is only half the story. The real reason you hate your recorded voice is entirely psychological. In psychology, there is a well-documented phenomenon called the mere exposure effect. It means people tend to develop a preference for things simply because they are familiar with them. You like the song you have heard 100 times. You prefer the face you see in the mirror every morning over a reversed photo of yourself. And you prefer the deep, resonant, bass-boosted voice inside your head. That is the voice you have known your entire life. It is your auditory home. When you hear a recording, you are hit with a sudden, jarring discrepancy. It violates your expectation. It creates a state of cognitive dissonance. Your brain says, "That is not me." And because it is unfamiliar, your brain automatically decides it is bad. It feels like a betrayal of your self-image. It is the exact same reason people hate looking at photographs of themselves where their hair is parted on the wrong side, or they see a video of themselves walking. It is just slightly off from the internal version you are used to controlling and observing. And that slight difference triggers an intense feeling of discomfort. But here is the most comforting part of this entire audio illusion. The voice you hate so much in the recording, that is the voice your friends and family love. They do not hate it because they have never heard your internal bass-boosted remix. They have only ever heard the air-conducted version. To them, your recorded voice is not a thinner, weaker version of you. It is just you. It is the sound they associate with your personality and your comfort. When they hear a voicemail from you, their brain does not register a discrepancy. There is no cognitive dissonance. It just perfectly matches the you they know. In fact, studies on voice perception show that the gap between how we think we sound and how we actually sound is entirely one-sided. We are hypercritical of our own recorded voices, picking up on tiny nasal tones or slight lisps that we swear make us sound ridiculous. But listeners rarely notice those things. When people hear a recording of your voice, they are not analyzing the acoustic frequencies. They are just listening to what you are saying. Think about your favorite singer. When you listen to them on a track, you think their voice is incredibly rich and full. But if you could somehow tap into the bone conduction inside their own head while they were recording, it would sound even deeper to them. Every single person you talk to is walking around listening to their own private, bass-boosted remix. We are all experiencing the exact same audio illusion, completely unaware of it. But for everyday conversation, your skull subwoofer is just an unavoidable reality. You are the only person on Earth who will never get to hear your true voice from the outside. It is an exclusive track, locked inside the vault of your own skull. A private concert that only you get to attend. So the next time you send a voice note and immediately regret hitting play, do not panic. You do not sound weird. You do not sound annoying. You just sound like yourself. Just a slightly less bass-heavy version of yourself. And to everyone else in the world, that is exactly how you are supposed to sound. If you really want to stop the cringe, the only cure is exposure. Broadcasters and podcasters listen to their own voices constantly until their brains update their internal baseline. Eventually, the recorded voice becomes familiar and the cognitive dissonance fades away. They accept the air-conducted version as their true voice. Until you reach that level of professional acceptance, you just have to live with the illusion. You just have to accept the reality of the raw audio file. It is a strange thought. The voice you use to introduce yourself, or to say, "I love you," is a sound you have technically never heard. You have only ever heard the echo of it bouncing around inside your own head. The true sound only exists in the space between you and the person listening to you. So, the next time you hear your recorded voice and want to throw your phone across the room, just remember the mechanics of your own skull. You are mourning the loss of your internal subwoofer, but the rest of the world thinks you sound just fine.